Hello YouTube and welcome back to another episode of Getting Into Feed the Beast. Today, that looks really weird. I've got a bone in me. Anyway, today we're going to be continuing making the Ender Quarry. Before we get started though, I want to introduce to you guys just a few things that I've done while we've been away. Alright, so if you guys remember from last time, we made a powered spawner that gave us some Endermen. That's that right there. I've actually added 2 additional powered spawners. One of them is for a cow, and the other one is for a blaze. The reason behind that is because we need blaze rods and we need leather, and instead of farming for cows, I just find this way a lot easier. There are 2 ways that I've got set up to turn these on. I can either utilize the redstone up here, this little lever. There it is. It's a redstone conduit. It's made pretty easily. It's using the one of the smelters, the induction smelter. Let's see here. There it is, redstone conduit. You just use 3 of these redstone alloys and you get 8 of those. The alloy is just made by getting redstone and silicon together in an induction smelter. Useful because you don't have to place it on a block on the ground or something. It can go anywhere really simply and does the exact same thing as redstone. So I can either power these by flipping this switch, shunk, and it'll turn, well, a couple of those on. There's our Enderman. There we go, active with signal. If I change the mode to the, oh dear, that's a blaze. Ow! Jeez, that is not a room you want to be in while it's turned on. Now, the reason I don't just leave this on all the time is because it's very, very resource intensive. If you look at the top here, you'll notice that the power is going down pretty fast. I could only leave this on for probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20... Oh, I'm covered. Anyway, 20 minutes. But right now, I mean, if we look inside of our computer here, you'll see a lot of stuff here is different. I'll introduce that in a minute. I've already got, plenty of blaze rods because I've been running it while you guys have been gone. I've got some ender pearls here. I've got plenty of those. The only thing I could really use at the moment is leather because I just built a bunch of bookshelves out of that. And we're going to go over why. The Ender Quarry, if you guys remember, required, let's see here, Ender Quarry, there it is, these magical wooden blocks, and those are made using bookshelves with liquid XP. All I've done here is I've just hooked up a fluid transposer to my experience tank, and I put those in there. I've actually already got the magical wood. Should be all that we really need for now. Let me go over a few of these quick changes I've made. I mean, you can see that, this is what's called a security terminal. It helps to limit who is allowed access into my computer. Not very useful on a single player world, pretty useful on a multiplayer world. On top of that, it also allows me to have this wireless terminal. The wireless terminal talks to this ME wireless access point, has a range of 80 meters. Keep in mind, though, it is pretty expensive to run. If you put these wireless boosters in here, if I take those out, the range and the power go both down. But having a range of 16 meters doesn't really benefit us, so I keep those in there. Some of the recipes involved there, we've got the wireless. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Anyway, if you look in here, here's that ME wireless access point. You can make that using the wireless receiver. Comes from a Fluix Pro. I mean, there's just a bunch of little recipe things that come in. If you guys really want to know how to make them, just follow in the NEI. It will show you. Again, the items you're going to need is an ME security terminal, a wireless access point, this wireless booster, and then finally a wireless terminal to use it. And the way that you link this wireless terminal to your network is you go into the security terminal and you just take this and you stick it up there. You'll notice it goes down, and now it is linked to this network. Pretty snazzy, pretty handy dandy, I like that. And obviously it's pretty useful. I mean, you know, I might be clear over in the other room and I can get access to all of my items from anywhere in my house, which is great. I really like being able to do that. The next thing on our list of things to do, though, is I want to really get this Ender Quarry underway. I spent a lot of time while I was away from you guys putting together some of the things we're gonna need, and I've just introduced you to all of those, but now we're ready to build this Ender Quarry. We're gonna start with the Ender Infused Obsidian. That's just using obsidian and these Ender Pearls. So let's go ahead and grab some of that. I think I've already made it. Yep, I have. Okay, next off, we're gonna need these Ender Cores. I need Eye of Ender, 2 of those, and 8 of this magical wood that I've already gotten here. Okay, and there we go. We now have 2 of those Ender Cores. We'll just put them where they belong, as if this were the crafting recipe. Next off, we're going to need a sapling. I mean, I should be, you know, perfectly fine in the realm of saplings, 3,500. By the way, I don't know if I already showed you guys this. I've hooked up my computer to my farm, so now it just it imports the stuff automatically into the computer. It automatically exports saplings into the planter. I've done the same thing with my wood system here, where it exports wood to here. And I've doubled my production for coal, because trying to keep up with these spawners, you know, let's go ahead and turn those off. Trying to keep up with those spawners requires a ton of power, and we just weren't keeping up with the amount of coal that we were making. But anyway, we've got that sapling, so let's go ahead and now grab these endothermic pumps. We're going to need 2 of them, so that's going to require 8 of this ender-infused obsidian, some iron pickaxes, buckets of water, bucket of lava, Eye of Ender. We can do that, right? Let's go ahead and go into the computer room for that. So to start, we're going to put these in their respective corners, and then after that, we're going to grab the diamonds. Next off is that iron pickaxe. We're going to need 2 of those, I think. We're also going to need some sticks. I'll go to my crafting table over here and just put those together like that. I forgot my sticks. Wow. I love how glitchy Minecraft is. I just barely got an upgrade to mining. You know, apparently the Thor of Hammer doesn't ever exist. Continuing on, though, we go back to the computer, put the pickaxe in there, and then let's grab the Eyes of Ender. Looks like we're going to have to make some more, but that's okay, because I have plenty of blaze powder, and I have plenty of Ender Pearls, so it's not really a problem for us anymore, thanks to those spawners. And then we need a couple of buckets. Looks like we're going to have to make more of those. There. Now watch this. One thing I love about Applied Energistics with this computer system is I've got the crafting recipe here. If I click this, it'll automatically replace those previous items with some new ones, which is great. I love that. You'll see, though, that we ran out of a lot of those items in the computer, so the only thing we really have left is the Eye of Ender and some diamonds. But there we go. We've got the endothermic pumps finished. Last off, we're going to need this diamond-etched computational matrix. That sounds kind of cool. For that, we need burnt quartz blocks. So I'm just going to go and grab like 4 of these. And then we pretty much just go and smelt those. Not too crazy, nothing too special going on there. There we go, we've got our 4 blocks of burnt quartz. Should probably eat some bread as well. You know, I've heard that there's a way in Feed the Beast to feed yourself continuously without actually eating. I've never discovered it, but I really would frankly like to, because I'm kind of all done carrying bread around. It just uses up my inventory space, you know. Don't like that so much. Last off in this, though, we need is the Ender-infused obsidian. Now we've got everything in here. Let's go ahead and hit the X so that the crafting terminal is empty. We're gonna put all of these guys into their place. Now don't get too excited. We can't start mining immediately after this thing is finished. We do need I can't use a used pickaxe, that sucks. Anyway, we do need a lot of other things before we can really start mining, but trust me, this will be worth it. I can't wait to be rolling in the resources. It's going to be good. Got that diamond pickaxe done. I'm going to stick it right in there. And now we've got the famous Ender Quarry. I love this thing. It's very, very, very power hungry, though. Costs a lot to run one of these. And that does bring up the question that you guys may be wondering, how does this work? How is it going to use power? The way that this thing works is I could take it outside. I'm not going to use it in this area, though. This area is too pretty to just mine out. I don't want to do that. But, you know, let's pretend I was setting it up in this area. The way I would do it is I would start by placing down this. And then there are some of these little beacon things that we're going to use. I don't remember what they're called. Give me a second to figure out what those are. Actually, there they are. The Ender marker right there. You're going to need at least 4 of these. Though let's think here. Yeah, you're going to need 4 of these guys. They're just made using the Ender infused obsidian and a piece of Ender pearl. But this isn't a normal crafting table. We'll go over how to make this guy in a second. Anyway, you'd place the torch on top of it. And you see the text at the bottom right. When I right click it, it says analyzing fence boundary, unable to detect fence boundary. You use those markers to build the boundary, or you could use a wooden fence. It's either way. I could just go like this and build the wooden fence in a square. Has to be a square. And then this would detect that fence and attempt to start mining. However, if we're clearing the heck away from our house, that brings up the next question of how are we going to power this? I don't want to have to run, you know, some flux ducts all the way from my house to this, because as we remember talking about, those flux ducts are just so expensive to make. And so the way I'm going to be doing that is what we're going to work on now. That's through what is called a tesseract. I talked about it briefly, and this is how you make one. We're going to need some silver, which we've got 1,000 silver. We got a ton of that. We need some bronze, this tesseract frame, some resonant ender. We're going to go over how to make that as well. We need this frame, which comes from endurium ingots. We'll learn how to make those. And then some hardened glass, which we've already done before, so that's not too hard for us. Since this is at the bottom of the recipe, though, let's learn how to make these endurium ingots. The way you do that is by mixing Endurium blend with this thing called pyrotheum dust and the induction smelter. We're going to have to learn how to build both of these in order to pull that off. And let's start with the pyrotheum dust. Remember, the ratio is 1 pyrotheum to 2 Endurium blend. So I want to make about a stack of this just because I use it all the frickin' time. We're going to make 32 of these pyrotheum dust. Clicking into that, the recipe is simple, especially since, go figure, we have plenty of blaze powder, we have plenty of sulfur, we have plenty of coal, and we should have plenty of redstone. So let's start by grabbing the blaze powder. We're going to grab a stack of coal, we're going to grab a stack of redstone, and then finally we're going to grab a stack of sulfur. There we go. The only things that need to really happen here is we've got to pulverize both the coal and the blaze rods. Now, technically, I don't need this many blaze rods, but I'm going to need blaze powder in the future anyway, so I don't mind if I get some extra. While that's happening, let's look into how to make the endurium powder stuff that we saw. If we go in there, you'll see that it takes 10 dust, 2 parts, 1 part silver, and then 1 part shiny, as well as this resonant ender bucket. Hold on. I hear zombie. He's going to try to kill me. I really need to get my house protected. I really love these open doors, but I hate that I'm always, like, fighting mobs. Shiny metal. That's something you guys have never really seen before, and I found a way that's very useful to make this because it says that they're shiny ore. I have never found it, like ever. I've never found nether platinum ore, so can't really use that method. I've never found this platinum dust. The only way I've found that really works for making this is... oh, come on, where are ya? There it is, right there. If you mix cinnabar, this specific kind, with ferrous ore, you get a 100% chance in the induction smelter of getting some shiny. The way that you get cinnabar is just by pulverizing redstone or by pulverizing gold. I mean, pretty much a lot of the things, some of the things, I guess, that you stick in the pulverizer have a chance of giving you this cinnabar. You'll want a silk touch tool, though, for getting redstone ore. But I fortunately do already have some cinnabar on hand, so I'll just go ahead and grab that. However, I do not think I have ferrous ore, so I'll be right back. I'm going to have to go ahead and start mining for that really quick. Now I'm down here mining, and I wanted to introduce one other thing to you guys that I built. Very, very useful. It's this item dislocator. It's my first Draconic Evolution item that I've got. And what that does is any item within an 8-block range will be teleported to my inventory. When I'm mining, I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm actually picking everything up. It takes care of that for me. You can also do something crazy like mine right over lava. The applications for this are pretty useful. I like it. The construction of it, though, is a little bit difficult, I'll be honest. It requires one of these charms of dislocation that takes blaze powder, which we have plenty, Eye of Ender, which we have plenty, draconium dust, which we don't have plenty of. I've only found one of these in the whole time I've been mining, and usually you find them on the level of like 5 and below. I mean, really not many other resources down there, but I found one just kind of by mistake, which I was really thankful for. Alright, there we go. Found some ferrous ore, finally. I'm going to grab some of this other stuff. I'll go ahead and just pocket everything that I don't need for now. I definitely need that ferrous ore. I mean, that's the whole reason we went mining. And there we go. We've got it. We've got the cinnabar. We're going to head back to the house and make sure I didn't accidentally put away some more ferrous ore. I'll just get into my inventory and search for it. Yep, I did. Perfect. We've got a total of 6 pieces of ferrous ore then. That's going to mean 6 shiny ingots for us. I like that. Let's go ahead and smelt them down. While we're waiting for that shiny to finish its job, let's go ahead and go back to our recipe for... oh yeah, Endurium. But sometimes I just forget what I'm like in the middle of. It's really hard to keep everything straight. We're trying to make this Endurium ingot. There we go. Comes from mixing the pyrotheum with the Endurium blend. And there we go. Pulverized shiny mixed with pulverized silver mixed with pulverized tin. And this resonant ender bucket that we'll make in a minute. Let's go ahead though and turn this servo off for now. I don't want it to cook our shiny that we're going to be pulverizing. Let's also go ahead and grab some tin out of here. I'll just grab like maybe a stack of that. I'll grab some silver. Maybe just grab a stack of that. And we're going to go ahead and do that with the silver. We're going to cook or pulverize the tin. While we're waiting for those guys to finish up, let's go ahead and grab these ingredients we needed for the pyrotheum dust. There we go. We've got 2 full stacks of pyrotheum, which is good because we're going to need it. You'll also notice that the burn time on this pyrotheum is way long. We've got 24,000 units of time, and if you go and look at a piece of coal, I mean, even a block of coal, I think, doesn't even really come close to... there we go, 16,000 for a block of coal. That's 9 pieces, whereas this has 24,000. Pretty great, but I've frankly never used these. I've never wasted those in a furnace. Doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Next off, though, let's go ahead and grab our shiny. Let's grab our silver. Let's grab our tin. We have plenty of those, and we need now that bucket of resonant ender. Now, the way that you get that resonant ender is actually really simple. You just put ender pearl into the magma crucible, which is over here, and 4 of those will make a bucket, hence why I really made an effort to get us the that ender farm. That'll do its job, though. We will be needing a couple of buckets. We're going to need a total of, well, 6 buckets full. I'll put the buckets just in here, and as soon as it gets ready, there we go, we can actually start making our first batch of Endurium. There we go. We've got 4 right there. I'll get those cooking while we're waiting. Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to get those cooking. I have to put those in the induction smelter. I forget. There we go. Now those are cooking. We'll grab the next bucket.
Just take it from me, I'm just as free as any dot.
And there, that's really all that we can do. The limiting factor on that was that shiny ore. I really should have remembered that you don't ever want to melt down ferrous ore normally, unless you're just making Invar, but even then, I don't suggest it. You always want to do ferrous ore in a furnace, the induction smelter, with that cinnabar so that you get shiny, because it's going to be the limiting factor on how much endurium you can get. Okay, so while we're waiting for that endurium to cook, let's go ahead and go and make us some hardened glass, unless, looks like I've got enough quartz here. I have another way that I can make the same thing. It's fused quartz, and it's done just by sticking quartz into the alloy smelter like that, and it will give you the same thing as hardened glass. You know, quartz, though, we need it for the computer, but on the same token, we don't have to babysit this as much as making hardened glass through that, so I think I'd rather do it this way, and we've got plenty from that now. We're going to go ahead and grab our diamonds, if I can spell. There we go, we got a stack of diamonds. We're going to grab out our endurium ingots, come over to the crafting table, and then we need a minimum, guys, of 2 of these tesseracts. You can't get away with anything less than 2, but since I have enough resources, I'm probably going to go ahead and make 4, because I use these all the time. Let's go grab the rest of that glass we're going to need, put that in there, and there we go, we've got 4 tesseract frames. Now, what we do next is we go into the fluid transposer. It's going to take a full bucket of endurium, but that's easy peasy, right? We can do that. We've actually already got some resonant ender right here. We'll use that. The way you empty these buckets into the fluid transposer, though, you can just go like that and switch this from fill to empty, or whatever the switchy is. You push that button and basically it does the opposite action. Then I'm going to take that, put it in there, and we're going to grab 8 more of these ender pearls, because that's the number that we're going to need to finish this off. While those are filling up, let's go ahead and see what that last step is. I fill this up and get the full tesseract frame, and then after that I use bronze and silver to turn it into a tesseract. Let's see if we have 16 pieces of bronze. It looks like we do. That's great. So we're not going to have to make any of that right now. Let's grab the silver. We're going to need 16 pieces of that too. Okay, there we go. We've got our tesseract frames. We'll just take these back over to the crafting station here, and we'll finish up this recipe. And there we go. Whoops, I got them backwards. That's alright. There we go. Tesseract. We've got all 4 of them. They take a full inventory slot each, but that's okay. Now, the way that these work, if you're on a server, you're gonna need to protect these, or else people can steal your items through them, people can steal your power through them. I think that you just protect them by using this like Signalum security lock. You can look that up, and you make it into this. It's basically the same item, but it allows you to lock it so that you have to know like some kind of a password to get in. I don't remember how to use it, but anyway, I'm gonna set this right here next to my power output, or actually, you know what, I'm not gonna put it there. I want it to not be blocking my path. I don't like having my path blocked, you know. I'm going to go ahead and stick that here instead, and I'm going to tell this tesseract that it's going to be set to a frequency. I'm just going to set it to my favorite, well, not my favorite number, but the one I use the most. There we go. Frequency is set. I'm going to add some, I don't remember how to use this. Crap. Give me a second. There you go. You type in here, after putting in a number here, I think. You click on it, and that's the channel it's now operating on. Think of it like a radio station, right? You've got plenty of people out there who are broadcasting on the radio, but you want only to hear your station, so you tune into it. This will work across dimensions. This will work anywhere as long as both Tesseracts are loaded, which brings me to the next thing. This item right here is super useful. It's called a personal anchor. What it does is it keeps a 3x3 area of chunks loaded. If we look at the map at where we are, we have this chunk, this chunk, this chunk, that, and that. All of those chunks are loaded even while I'm not here because of this personal anchor. You'll have to look up the crafting recipe online because for some reason it doesn't allow me to make one. In fact, I had to cheat that in and just throw away the ingredients, which is kind of frustrating. I hate it how that works, but most servers do have these personal anchors available. This one is powered by just putting ender pearls into here. It usually is 12 hours per one ender pearl. On servers, they'll usually have it require a different type of fuel that you have to vote for the server to get the fuel. That's very common, but at least on a server you'll be able to make it legitimately. If you're on single player and you didn't change the world settings to allow you to cheat in items, what you'll do in that case is you go to your menu, you open it to LAN, and you allow cheats on, and then you'll be able to make one of those. Just do everyone a favor, mostly yourself. Make sure you throw away the items that would have been required to build it so you keep your game legit. But there we go, we are now broadcasting power over the network. I want to change the configuration though. It's actually only receiving items or fluids or power. I don't want it to be receiving anything. I want it only to be transmitting energy. And now if I set up a Tesseract somewhere else, we will have power. If I go back outside to that Ender Quarry, we're going to do that right now actually. I'll set this one up here. If I right click it, you'll see uNhumuN power is in there. I can dial into that, and then I can change the setting to where it's only receiving power. And now if you look at the top of the screen here, you'll notice that that Ender Quarry is now receiving energy, which is great. We can now set this up anywhere and it will work. Let's go ahead and pick these both up though. Okay, so we've got the quarry. The next thing we need is some way to mark a boundary. The way that I have chosen to do that is through those little markers that I showed you guys earlier. These right here, and those are made using the QED. Oh, creeper. Ooh, I'm paused. Do I have enough time? Oh, I didn't have enough time. Ouch. I'm gonna need some bread. But anyway, we need to make a QED first. Basically is the same as some of the other recipes we've been through. You're going to need ender pearls, obsidian, you know, it's not too awful to make. There's that ender infused obsidian around a diamond etched computational matrix. We've already made all of this before. There we go, we've got the QED. Now it's calling it this quasar entanglement device. You'll notice actually that every time you look at it, usually it'll have a different name. Like if I set it down, it'll probably be called something different. Oh, yep, it was different. Quantum enrichment device. Then if I scroll over it and put it down, eventually it will change its name again. I actually don't know what QED stands for. Quite expensive decoration. They change the name like every time. Next though, in order to get this guy working, you can't just set it down and expect it to function like a crafting table. It requires these ender flux crystals in order to operate, so we need more infused obsidian. Let's go ahead and grab some of that. And then of course we'll need those eyes of ender again. I'm going to start by just making two of these, I guess. They're kind of expensive, but the more you have, the faster this QED is going to work. And so, you know, if you want a faster operation, just make sure you set it up with more of these devices. I'm going to stick them just like that, though, and they can work really from anywhere as long as it's close by. We're going to need more of this ender-infused obsidian. Let's see if we actually still have some. Not really enough, though. We're going to need a minimum of 8, so let's go ahead and grab some obsidian. I actually have kind of forgotten how to make that. Let's see here. That's right, 4 obsidian around 1 ender pearl. Let's go ahead and grab some ender pearls as well. We'll come over to this crafting station and we're going to build probably 12 of these. That should do it. There we go. Let's put that in there. Yep, there we go. You guys might be able to hear that sound, and it's starting to work. It's drawing flux energy or whatever from these Ender flux crystals, and again, the more of these you get, the faster the operation will go. I've gotten it to where these will build in just a matter of seconds, but you know, for now, I can wait for a minute. I don't mind waiting for a minute.
I do what I like, just what I like.
There we go, I've got all of my Ender markers done, and so now there's only a couple of steps left before we can get this guy mining. Next I want to do is I need to have a way to send items home. Because when it's mining, it's going to, it's going to pick up things, and I need them to end up in my computer. I'm going to utilize a Tesseract to do that. I'm glad I made an extra Tesseract because I need one. The way that we're going to do this is I need to get some kind of a chest and just stick it somewhere next to my computer. I'll probably put it right, oh gosh, there we go, we'll put it up here. Oh, well, if I can reach. There we go, let's go ahead and grab a chest like that. And now, this chest, the purpose of it is that items are going to feed into this chest that my Ender Quarry mines. They'll go through time and space, or well, at least space, and end up in that chest. All I need to do is go ahead and lock into my uNhumuN power, and I want to tell this that the only thing it should be receiving is items. So that's done, we've got it. Next off though, I need an import bus. I'm going to go ahead and grab one. I'm going to need 4 of these acceleration cards as well. Yes, you will need all 4 acceleration cards eventually. Let's go ahead and make a few more of those. I've already got some advanced cards in here. I just take those and mix it with a Fluix crystal, which I should have plenty of those. So I've got that. And there we go. We've got all of our acceleration cards done. I grab the import bus. I just go and put it, link it to the chest like always. And then I'm just going to shift click that into there, and there we go. We've got all 4 of those now hooked up to that chest. So again, the items will come from the quarry into the Tesseract, into the chest, into the computer. And that's just, I found, to be the way that I like to do it. But let's go ahead and go and find a good spot for us to set up this Ender Quarry. Now, when looking for a place to set up your Ender Quarry, if you know of an extreme hills biome, that's going to be the place. That is your golden ticket. The reason behind that is because you can find emeralds in that biome. But of course, if you don't know where an extreme hills biome is, that's okay too. I think I'm going to go ahead and set mine up actually in this desert over here because I know I'm going to want sand, and I really love these really pretty bricks. I'm probably going to want those just for building for fun. So I'm going to go ahead and teleport right to my desert. Cha-chunk! Oh, I forgot something though. Have to go back home. You're going to want to bring just like a couple of stacks of cobblestone with you, and I'll show you why. We'll do that in a second here. Okay, back in the desert, I'm going to go and I'm going to build in just like the corner. Like, you have to build a square or a rectangle shape. It doesn't have to be a square. But I want to use as much of this desert as possible. The sad part is that it will no longer be a pretty looking desert after we're all done. The good part though is that I'll get to do whatever I want with all these cool bricks. I'm going to start up here though. Where these 4 chunks meet, I'm going to be right in the middle of that. I'm going to set that to be at, like, let's say level 100 on the y-axis, and that's done. We're good. Let's name that top left. Okay, I'm just going to make that probably black. Doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and save that, and then I'm going to go down, 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 down to here. I'm following this line. There we go. Let's go ahead and end it right there. I'm just going to double click this and name it, or bottom left, right. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'll be erasing those later. I'm going to set the Y again to 100 and save that. Oh, I'm being attacked. Gosh dang it, skeleton. There we go. We're hiding in a hole. Anyway, back to what we were doing. We've got that one finished now. Let's go ahead and move all the way over to the right. That should do it right there. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to create another one of these here by just double clicking, change the Y to 100. I'm going to name that one bottom right, make it black. And then finally I go up to our top corner, which is right here. Oh, there it is. Follow that over, and there we go. There it is. Alright, so there we go. I've got all 4 of these locations marked, and what those will be is those are actually going to be the location for each of those torches that we made, or whatever, these ender markers. I'm going to start by just teleporting to the top left. Bing! Ta-da! And if you... Oh, I don't want to land on that cactus. Let's see here. Oh, that's weird. The cactus just became like see-through. I don't know. Anyway, the point of this cobblestone I told you guys that you're going to want to bring is so you can build up to where you're going to put your marker. Now you see on the mini-map where my Y says 100, make sure that when you're standing on your piece of cobblestone, it says 100. I'm going to go ahead and teleport to the next marker and do the same thing. And by the way, the reason that I chose 100 is because you have to be above whatever you're trying to mine. You can't be below. And you guys see this little particle effect that's going on? It's pointing that way. It's pointing towards that beacon that we've already set up, and now those two are linked. We're going to go ahead and teleport to our bottom right. There we go. Build that up until we get the 100 again. Okay, there we go. We should get the particle effect pointing that way, west. Now the last one is going to be just a little bit... Well, actually, never mind. It should probably be the same. We're going to go ahead and teleport to it. The top right. There it is. Okay, fall down, catch yourself, don't die. Make sure your jetpack is charged before you come and do this. Alright, I have run out of cobblestone. Of course I ran out of cobblestone. Let's go home really quick and just grab that cobble. I mean, at least I can teleport, right? Don't have to take forever, and I can just go right back to my top right, so it's not too inconvenient. Oh, ouch. Anyway, we are now up and to par. I'm going to build a little platform on this. Stick that there. We've got particles going in either direction. We need to put the Ender Quarry next to this. If I right-click it, it says Analyzing Fence Boundary, successfully established the boundary. That means that it recognizes that this is an area that I've defined for mining. So that's great. Now what I need to do is I need to put down this tesseract that I have, and I need to tell it that it needs to receive energy. There we go. And it needs to send items. And now that should... Oh, wait, I also need to dial it into uNhumuN power. There we go. It is receiving power. And if I right-click it, there we go. It now tells me it's mined 39 blocks. It's mined 51 blocks. We are now automatically getting... we're automatically harvesting. Now, what's kind of fun is you can actually, if I search around this, I can eventually find where this thing is mining. It'll start at one of the 4 corners, I don't know which, and you'll see that the sand is actually going to be replaced with dirt. The reason they do that is they don't automatically dig a hole, they just replace everything with dirt, and that helps to reduce lag on your computer so that it doesn't have to recalculate for things like light or for water. Let's say that water, if it was over there, if you dug out from that and left the water behind, it would have to flood all the way to the basement. That's going to be a bunch of block updates. It's going to lag your server. It's going to lag your computer. So mining this way is great. However, in my opinion, it is still mining too slow. I don't want it to be mining this slow because most of this is going to be cobblestone. The way that we're going to fix that in our next episode is that we are going to create this speed upgrade. Speed 3, it requires some enchanted pickaxes. I'll show you guys how to get these without having to risk it to chance. It requires some upgrades. I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff that we're going to have to make to get this, but it's totally worth it because we will be mining just at light speed when we start doing that. And then on top of that, I also, once we have a better source of power, want to upgrade to where we get Silk Touch. That's made just using a golden Silk Touch pickaxe. Again, I'll show you guys how to get Silk Touch every time without having to risk it to chance. And after those two upgrades are installed, this thing is going to be a champ. It's going to be a power sucker, though. That one makes it require twice as much power, but it mines a heck of a lot faster. Way worth it in my mind. Silk Touch 1.5, so you're at a total of something like 3.5 times the normal amount of power, or maybe it's 4, I don't know. Anyway, it's going to cost a lot more, which is why we're also going to explore how to get better power. So, we'll look forward to seeing you guys next time.